So as we step into 2025, I want to take a moment to reflect on the past year and things that worked and what didn't and lessons that I've learned that I'm bringing into this new chapter. And I love hearing about people's goals for the new year. And I used to be one of those people that would get so annoyed this time of the year with everybody sharing everything and reflecting. But I think it's a great thing because for me, my life gets better every year that I get older. I look forward to getting older with birthdays. I look forward to New Year's because it's just always a great time. Those are opportunities to reflect. And hopefully, if you are always growing and you understand the value of having a growth mindset and truly always trying to be better and better your life, then each year truly does get better, no matter what happens. And one of the things that oftentimes when I'm praying, like I will specifically mention that I'm grateful for the things that have been given to me and the things that have been taken away. And really at the end of the day, I always come back to something a coach shared with me long ago that I think about probably every single day at this point. And I remember I was in this phase of consumption. I had really just went full on into my business. I'd burned the ships. I'd left my job. I was doing this full time. And I wasn't really sure what it looked like what it was going to look like for me to work with business owners. I knew I wanted to help people understand money. I wanted to help people grow their businesses, but I didn't know how I was going to package that up. And I didn't want to be like anybody else. I didn't want to be a coach and all this stuff. And so I was just consuming all of this content. If I wasn't reading something, then I was listening to a podcast or a book. But I almost got information constipation. And I remember talking to my coach, and the thing that he said to me was that in Eastern medicine, consumption, or accumulation rather, is the first sign of disease. It's that simple. I think a lot of times when we think about disease nowadays, we're thinking about our bodies and cancer and illnesses and things like that, but you gotta step out of just the body thought of disease, and it is dis-ease. So if you break the word apart, it doesn't really have anything necessarily to do with our bodies. That's just how we identify disease a lot. But when we are having a hard time in life and things just feel harder than they really should be feeling, and we know that, then we're experiencing dis-ease, right? And so we want that ease. Now, it doesn't mean that things are going to be easy. Those are not the same things. But we do want to have ease in our life. And I just remember him saying that. And why I bring this up is because when I think about going into a new year, going into a new phase, when I think about things that are working, things that are not working, one of the first things I look at is what is here that shouldn't be here. Because that is what most of our problems are, is there's too much of something. And it is distracting us, it is diluting the result, it is diluting our opportunities for success. And so I'm so big on this concept of less but better. And so when I go to step into 2025, my word for the year is no. Because one of the things that I really focused on for 2024 was positioning. That was my big domino personally, because I really wanted to better understand sales and what that truly meant, and messaging, how to speak truly to the people that we want to attract and work with. And I invested so much money in myself to be able to do that for 2024, and it really did pay off. And so one of the things that I learned about that when I went through this exercise of learning how to sell and learning how to persuade people for good, as my sales coach would say, what it really helped me to be better about is articulating the value of what we provide. And it helped me to really craft our offers so much better. It helped us to simplify. And actually, as a result of that, we went down to one service only for one-on-one clients to simplify my business. So we didn't need to add anything else. We just needed to be better. And so in doing that, going through the year last year, I was focusing a lot on sales. I was focusing a lot on how to use messaging better on social media, how to attract people. We've been very blessed in that progress has grown from referrals, and we have such great clients that I'm so grateful for that. But there's a part of it where it's this is one system where I really want to help other business owners be able to implement this themselves, and that is attraction rather than just waiting for people to come to you, right? We love the referrals and we want to have systems for that as well, but I want people to be able to attract the right people that maybe aren't going to come straight up from a referral. And so I really wanted to learn this system. So in the process of learning how to sell better and learning how to do messaging better and really speaking to the transformation that we can take our clients through, I just did a lot of selling. Made a lot of offers to people, and one of the things that I found in doing that is that I wanted to be a yes person. Not that I really wanted to be that person, but I found that's what I was doing. And so that was how I came to the determination that the word no is going to define my 2025, because I want to give out more no's so that I'm going to get more of my time back. We are launching a new offer that I'm very excited about, and it's going to transform so many people's businesses on a bigger scale, and we're finally ready to be able to do that. And so in doing that, I'm going to have to say more or no to more opportunities for working with people one-on-one. And so the price of our flagship one-to-one offer has increased significantly. It is much more robust and comprehensive, but it is so much more transformational. And as a result of that, when we consolidated our services down to just the one, we had to have a lot of really hard conversations with people. And in that process of having hard conversations with people, it was so good for me and our team as a whole. And there was a lot of things that happened through that process that I did not expect. People that were very understanding that I didn't think that would be, and people that I would have never, at the time, would have never thought would be the way that they were and essentially stab me in the back. But then hindsight's 2020, and then you can look at moments through that relationship where you can see like, oh yes, that makes sense now. And so I learned really to be much more objective. I learned how to help people understand the value of what we do so much better. I learned to be confident in the value that we provide, and it took a lot of work. And my team is still helping me to do this each day. It's funny because so many people will tell me that you're so confident, Brittany. I want to have the confidence that you have, and I am a very confident person. But there's a lot in there that you don't know about. And I think that almost anybody could say that. And it's this thing in entrepreneurship where you have this strong desire and you know that you are called to do something so grand and huge, and you have these huge dreams as an entrepreneur and as somebody that truly wants to help so many people and feeling equally as unqualified to do it. And one of the things that I remember somebody said not long ago that I love this is that you will fear the things the most that you desire the most. And that stuck with me so much. And that is one of those things where it's like knowing that those are the things that I fear. That's how I know that that's what I need to pursue. That's how I know that's what I need to do. So that's an indicator for me when we go into creating goals for 2025 and beyond, when we are redesigning our offers, when we are making offers, when we are taking action, is if it feels comfortable, then it's not the right action, probably. And the same thing when it comes to prices. One of the things that I learned in 2024 is that if you're comfortable with the price that you are quoting to somebody, it's probably too low. And this has been true for me so many times. It felt like it was comfortable for me to be able to say that price. And what ends up happening is that it becomes a price that doesn't allow me to feel really great about what we're offering to people, because I want to be able to go above and beyond, but rather because of the way that it's priced too low relative to the time that I want to be able to give it. And so we have to start treating people and putting them more through an assembly line rather than being part of an ecosystem. And that's something that I no longer desire to do. And so I'm so confident now in being able to say, yeah, our bottom tier offer where we're working with you one-on-one starts at $50,000. And it's funny because that offer started out at $500 a month years ago, and it was worth so much more than that, but I didn't have the confidence, 3.5, 4 years ago that I have now, and I didn't have the clarity as a result of better understanding what do my people want, the people that I can truly transform them, who are they, what does their life look like, where are they at right now, and then how do we get them to that end result that we know we're going to help you build a business where you're going to be able to transition out of the operations of that in 12 to 18 months from now, and we're so certain on how we're going to be able to do that. And there's a lot of people that want that, but not everybody is a right fit for the way that we do it. And so getting really good about being able to articulate that and clarify that, setting that big domino was probably the most impactful thing for me at the start of 2024. And we actually do this with all of our clients now. When we are onboarding them, we create a 12-month plan with them, and we assess what they have going on, what their goals are. And in that information, we help them set their big domino. And so for yourself, if you're not really clear on what do I even need to focus on, maybe you are, it's the first of the year and you want to take advantage of this energy and you want to have a reset, but you're not even really sure where to start. I want to give you some insight on how you may be able to do that for yourself. So we have a framework that we use for our business blueprint, and it is 7 P's to progress. And it is in a very particular order, and based off of what our goals are, we know which one of these P's are going to be our big domino for whether it's a core initiative or in this case, the next 12 months. So the big domino for my company and for myself over the next 12 months is processes. And so why we call it the big domino is that when we focus on this one thing, we know that it is going to have the most impact. It's going to set so many other good things in motion. It is going to eliminate the need to focus on other things in a lot of cases, and it's going to provide us the most value. And so, as a team, we go through and we have done this planning already, so everybody on my team knows what this is as well. So we're all working together instead of against one another unintentionally. And so that is just one of the P's though. But the first one is purpose. And this maybe this needs to be your big domino if you're really just not clear on who you are, what you want. Like, you have this company, but why are you doing this? And this isn't going to be one of those things where it's like, well, maybe you realize you need to burn it all down and go do something else. That could be the truth for you. But a lot of times what people don't realize is that when you are defining the purpose for your business and for yourself, you can use any medium to fulfill your mission and your own vision. And so, for myself, it is so important for me to help people step into the role and in the being of the person that they were created to be, into having their best life, because I know that when people are able to live out what they're passionate about, the most people are impacted positively. Because I think that one of the worst things is that people are born into this world, they live and they die, and so many people don't realize their full potential, and the entire world suffers as a result of it. And that is the last thing that I want for anybody that I can positively impact. So that is my purpose. Now, you wouldn't think about being a business advisor and a CPA and that is my vision and my mission, but it very much is, because for me, I know that when we help people understand business systems, when we help them implement processes, when we help them understand data, when we help them master their money, when we are helping them to be a better leader of their team, then this stuff takes pressure off of them in areas that they shouldn't have pressure on them, so that they can fully step into the role that they were made for, so that they can fully step into being the entrepreneur that they started their business to become in the first place, right? And so that is how we do that. So maybe if that's you today and you are having a hard time with your team and really getting traction, and leadership just feels extremely hard for you, then it could be that you really need to get clear on your purpose. And your purpose encompasses your vision, your mission, and your values. And so a lot of this is, you can do this for yourself just as much as you can for your company. And I would encourage you to do it for both. But because entrepreneurship is such a huge part of our lives as business owners, then a lot of times they're going to be one and the same. And there's people that want to be part of that mission. And so this is the number one area where if there's a lot of dissension on teams, if you've got great team members, but everybody seems to be running in different directions, I would go back and ask you, how clear is your vision and your mission? Are your team members in alignment with your values? Does everybody really know where we're going? Do they know why we're working? Do they even know why we're working together? Are we working together? Are they wasting time doing things that really are irrelevant because they show up each day and they don't know why what they do matters? And this is why this is the first P of the business blueprint, and assessing what your big domino is going to be. Because if you aren't clear on that, then it affects everything. It affects your communication, and communication is the second biggest issue in any business. The first one is not being clear on your vision and your purpose. The second is communication, because if you're really clear on that, but then you don't communicate it and it doesn't infiltrate every single piece of communication that you have, then it might as well be that you don't even have a clear vision and purpose set, right? So that may be where you need to start. The next one would be positioning. And so this was the one that I made for myself as my own Big Domino for 2024. And the reason that I chose this one is because I knew what we had to offer was so good, and I knew that it was different. I knew it was so necessary, and it has transformed so many people's businesses. You know, we have clients that have been working with us for years, and they will stay with us for years because these systems work and their businesses have changed so much. They have so much more profit than they've ever had, but I didn't know how to get that out there. And I didn't have a lot of confidence selling because I don't like to convince people. I'm not trying to sell something to somebody that they don't truly need. And I wanted to be able to attract people. There's a part of me that selfishly wants to be able to control our lead flow. And so I knew that I had to get better about being able to articulate who we are, what is the value that we bring forth, being able to communicate and articulate our vision and our own purpose, right? And so I really leaned into, if I can focus on learning how to sell, if I can focus on learning how to speak directly to the people that we want to work with and we know we can serve those people, then that's what my Big Domino has to be. It has to be positioning. And that really transformed and infiltrated everything. It made me a better leader of my team. It made it so much simpler to be able to say no to things that truly didn't bring me value personally, that I was not on fire about. And it allowed me to be able to articulate what we do to people. And this is something that I will continue to refine this craft. So just because this domino is getting reset for 2025 doesn't mean that I'm going to stop doing that. I just know what I need to work on with more clarity there now, that's not my biggest hurdle. My biggest hurdle is making sure, okay, we got to systematize this messaging process. We've got to systematize the opportunity to sell to people. And so that's where I came into for my word for 2025. I want to get more no's and I want to give out more no's. I want to sell so much that I get so many no's that it helps me to just become better, but I have to have processes in place to be able to have those conversations and have those opportunities in the first place. So if that's somebody that's like, you have your offer, you know what you want to share with the world, you know what you want to offer people, you're ready to put the fuel on the fire of your business and really amplify its growth, then I would encourage you to really focus on positioning and messaging and being able to speak to the people that it's when they see something on social media that you have to share or they hear something that you're saying, you're so great at being able to speak directly to the thoughts that they're thinking, directly to their pains, and then how what you offer is the solution to the transformation that they want. It will completely change everything for you, especially if you've already got the foundation of your business built, you have a team in place, you want to be able, you have consistent sales, you have good profitability and cash flow, but you know it could be better, and you're really ready to grow your business, then this may be the thing that you need to put your foot on the gas for. And so the next thing would be your products and services. So this is the third P in the business blueprint, and this is something where, you know, maybe you are at a point in your business where you have maxed out what you have to offer, or maybe you're at a point where you need to invest in a new piece of equipment, or you're looking to expand your business. What is going to be the thing that helps you to expand? What is going to be that product or that service? And to give an example of that, for instance, would be, you know, we have a med spa that they have been doing aesthetics for years, and they're to the point now they've grown so well and they're so clear about how they want to help people that now they're expanding into wellness. And so that is going to be very complementary to the aesthetics, but it is still different enough that it's essentially its own business. And so in that products and services expansion phase and being clear on what they're going to offer now, it's like, okay, we want to do wellness, but what is really going to speak to how we want to serve people? And so getting really clear on that. And so that might be that you need to commit to doing research and analysis and discovery, and maybe that is actually going and having an experience from somebody else that is providing something similar to what you want to offer. You know, med spas do this a lot. They go experience the services of somebody else's, or wellness, or chiropractors, anything like that. Even, you know, construction companies will tour other construction companies, have clients that do things like that all the time. And so being really clear on, we want to expand our business, we have the cash flow for it, we have the foundation, we have the stability, we know that we'll need some training and things like that, but we aren't really clear on exactly what products and services we want to offer as we go in to expand into this new market. And so it's like, what research and development essentially do you need to do to be able to nail that down, and then giving yourself a deadline, like, we're going to know this, and then having a launch plan for that product and that service launch, right? And so maybe that's your big domino. And so the next one would be people. And this one is so important, but it is not the first one on the list for a reason, because until you know those other things, you don't really have clarity on the people that you need on your team and in your ecosystem to be able to do that. And so you want to be clear on the products and services you're going to offer. You got to be clear on the values of your company, and being able to speak to your clients and position yourself to your patients, your clients, your customers appropriately is just as important when you want to hire people, probably more important actually, than just being able to market to people. Because the thing is, when you are building a business and you are going to step out of the operations of it, you got to think about the people that are delivering what you have to offer. You got to be able to trust them. You got to know that they're in alignment, they're going to get it, they're going to be in the right seat, they are going to have that mindset that is going to give you that peace of mind so that you can really focus on being the CEO of your business. And so a lot of times, I think one of the mistakes that a lot of people make is that they go to hire people and they are focusing on hiring for a role rather than making sure that they are a values alignment first, and that they have the mindset for the skills. Because the thing is that when you are building your business, there is never going to be somebody that is maybe an administrative assistant in one company and they're going to bring all of those skills over and it's going to be an exact fit for you. You may have people, in a lot of cases, especially if you have a smaller business and you've got 3, 4, 5 team members, and even sometimes up to 15 or 20, it depends on where you're at in your business, but you've got team members that are wearing multiple hats. And so especially when you are a smaller business, you want to make sure that you can qualify these people, that they're going to be in alignment with your values, they're going to understand the vision and the mission, and that they are going to be open to wearing multiple hats when they need to. Now, we want to help people be able to get into alignment on our teams, with their own expertise and their own passions too. And that's something that is very important for me, because I know that when I understand my team's goals and I understand what really drives them, when I help them achieve their goals, they're going to help me achieve mine. And so I want to make sure that they are in a role that's going to set them up for success. I want to make sure that I have the tools for them, but I'm also going to be under the expectation that if I have sought you out, that you're going to have some of what I already need, and it's going to be a lot easier to bring you on and integrate you into this ecosystem. And so if you've had a lot of turnover, if you're having issues with team members, you just don't have the right ones, or maybe you have great team members, but they're not really jiving for that role. One of the things I would encourage you to do, I absolutely love the Working Geniuses assessment, and there's a book out there called The 6 Working Geniuses. Highly encourage you to listen and read to that book. It really helped me have so much clarity on myself and what my strengths are, and same thing for my team. And actually what happened after I read this book, I had everybody on my team take this assessment, and we moved some people around as a result of it, because I have phenomenal team members, but sometimes you can just tell they're not really thriving, and I know that they could. So we moved some things around so that people would be able to better do that, and it has worked out really well. And so the 6 Working Geniuses tell you that you have 2 geniuses, 2 competencies, and 2 frustrations. And what happens with a lot of businesses is that they have great people that leave because I think the biggest thing is that there's no vision. They don't really see, like, where am I going within this company? Great people want to grow, right? And so this is, again, where do they see themselves in that vision and that growth, and being able to show people that there's going to be a place for you as you grow and evolve here as well. So that gives people some certainty and some conviction, and just the ability to trust you better as a leader. And then when it comes to their working geniuses, making sure that we are putting them in a place where they can truly thrive. And so you don't want to have them where they are working more in their frustrations, because they will leave. They will turn up. You're going to have a lot of mistakes that happen. And this is a lot of times when people are like, they're a great person, but they're just not doing a good job. And a lot of times, I think it's actually attributed to this. They're a great person, but they're not doing a good job because you have them doing something that is a frustration to them rather than a genius or a competency. And so I highly encourage you, if you've never done that before, the test I think is $25 per person. It is absolutely worth it if you read the book and understand the context around it too. It's going to make it much more impactful. But maybe that's where you need to focus on your people. You already know what you're offering. You're very clear on that. Your advertising and marketing and sales strategies are great. You're clear on what your vision looks like. But the people, you just can't get traction with them. You're having to micromanage everything, and that's not who you want to be. And you are having to do too much of the stuff that other people should be doing. And it may be because you need to refine what their roles look like, be very clear about that, how you're going to measure and track their own KPIs for accountability. And there's so much on this people component I could dive into. I'm not going to dive into that today. That will be another podcast for sure. But I do want to encourage you to, if you do nothing else, even if people is not your big domino for 2025, to take that Working Geniuses assessment. If you're a solopreneur, take that Working Geniuses assessment. I didn't do this for so long. I know that I'm a visionary person. I am a dreamer. And for way too long, I was working too long in my frustrations because I wasn't clear on what a frustration was for me. And now I am. And my team understands that. And they are always trying to get me out of the day-to-day. They are always trying to take things off of my plate because they have seen how impactful it's been for everybody. The more that I'm able to be in alignment with what drives my inspiration, what allows me to serve people on a better, more elevated level, right? And so the next big domino is going to be processes, right? So I've mentioned this one already, and maybe, like I said, you have a good foundation. Now, where I look at a lot of businesses to maybe make the processes their big domino is that I'm looking at what is your profitability. And if I know that you have good people in place, all of these, like what you're offering is great. We've got that down pat. This is actually the big domino for another one of our clients over the next 12 months as well. And processes, because they have such solid people now. They went through the people domino and they've gotten rid of the ones that were not in alignment with the culture, and they've got a lot of people in the right seats now. There's still some tweak in there, but the biggest thing for them is going to be processes. And the way that I was able to help them assess that is that I'm looking at their profitability, and it's good, but I know that it could be better, because all of our clients, when they get all of their business blueprint, all of their dominoes down pat, they have above industry standard profitability. For instance, the med spa clients that we work with, we know when they implement our blueprints and they do what we tell them to do, essentially, that, you know, if the industry standard is 25%, they're hitting 30%. Just routinely. And so we know that with a combination of some other things I'm going to share with you, that they can achieve above industry standard profitability. A lot of times it comes back to processes. You've got the tools and the systems in place, but they're not really refined. And so we're going through, we're cleaning things up, we're refining them, we're really optimizing them so that we can, and the great thing about processes that I love is that we're focused on less but better again, right? So we're not focused on adding a bunch of stuff to your business to make you all more optimized. We're focusing on what is here that doesn't need to be here. What is creating a breakage, a bottleneck, a breakage or a blockage or anything like that. I think I said that a couple times, but you get what I'm saying. And so we're looking at those things and we're refining those systems because, man, that is one of the key things that once we understand like where there's a break in a system and what needs to be refined, that is so impactful for helping the owner to transition out of the operations. Because the owner a lot of times knows what needs to be done, but we're hiring team members that we got to train them to be solution seekers, not problem solvers, so that they focus on solutions, not just fixing problems and focusing on problems, right? And so processes allow us to do that a lot of times. So if you have a lot of people where you are making good profitability, you're not looking to really expand your business, you want to grow what you already have and just make it better, processes may be your big domino for the year. And then the next one is pricing. And the reason that this is one of the components and possibly a domino for a lot of people is because most people are priced too low because they're not clear on what it actually takes to fulfill a service or provide a product to people. And I would even back that up to say that a lot of people underprice themselves because they're pricing themselves based on where they are, not where they want to go, because they're not clear on where they want to go. And you have to understand that you've got to be able to make a profit with what you are offering people and price accordingly so that you can charge a price that allows you to go above and beyond for those people, that allows you to really charge a price so that you can truly show up for those people and give them everything that they deserve and everything that you want to give them. But if you're charging prices where you're having to nickel and dime your time and you're trying to optimize this experience, but you're focused more on efficiency than providing the experience, then I would say that's a sign that you're underpriced. This is really simple to be able to see, though. If you are tracking your numbers and you have somebody that is taking care of your financials, all of our clients, we're very clear on this. And we know that's one of the first things we do when we're onboarding clients is that I'm going in there and looking at where are you priced? Are you even priced for profit? Are you priced appropriately? Do we need to change what you offer and how you offer it, or do we need to just change the prices altogether? And I remember a little over a year ago, we had a client that she has a med spa that offers wellness, and for a long time we had this conversation. I'm like, you're having a lot of these issues, having to work all the time, back to back, not being able to give people the experience that truly want to give them, working in the clinic 5 days a week and being the person that's doing it all. And I was like, you have to raise your prices. So she ended up doubling her prices, and now she's in the clinic 2 days a week. And that just says it all right there. Pricing will fix most of your problems. And one of the things I find is that a lot of people, where this is how you'll know if pricing should be your big domino or if positioning should be your big domino. For instance, if you have all of the evidence and you can prove that these are my costs, and you still know that you're priced too low and you don't have the confidence to be able to tell people these are our prices now, your problem is not your pricing, your problem is your positioning. And so thinking about that going into the new year, I want you to make so much money that you can help so many people. You got to be able to price for profit. And so where this might be a big domino for you, if you have no clarity whatsoever on your financials, if you are not tracking KPIs, if you don't even know what a balance sheet is, then you probably need to focus on your pricing. You need to know your numbers. And then the last part of this is positive cash flow. So the reason that we focus on this as having its own part of the business blueprint and maybe setting this as your own domino is that cash flow is not the same as profitability. And so you've got to be able to have enough profit in your business that is going to allow you to have the cash flow. But an instance where we may have cash flow problems and we really need to focus on this, and this is a very relevant one I see this so much in construction companies, for instance, or if you sell a product or service to people and you get paid for it later, but they take delivery of it, right now, but maybe you give them 30 days to pay for it. This is where a lot of people run into cash flow issues. You can be priced profitably, but if you don't have good processes around making sure that people are going to pay you on time and that they're going to pay you, period, then you're going to look profitable on paper, but you're not going to have any cash flow to show for it. And so that may be something that you need to focus on. Another place that we see this too is that maybe you need to focus on your own personal lifestyle, because it's such a drain on your business that your business is profitable and it makes plenty of cash flow, but you're taking so much money out of your business that you can't afford to reinvest in it so that you can truly get out of the day-to-day of your business. And that's where maybe you need to focus on cash flow and managing your own money better so that you don't keep running up against this every year. If you're somebody that every time taxes get filed, you are always blown away because you're like, how do I owe so much money? When really the problem is not that you're paying a lot of taxes in proportion to your income. The problem is that you're not managing your money well to have the money to cover taxes when they come due. And so that is a positive cash flow issue. So I would start ensuring that you're going to have positive cash flow so that you don't have to leverage more debt than what you really need to, if at all, that you always have the money to be able to pay taxes. You are going to have things that come up in life and business that we cannot expect. Nobody can tell the future, right? And so maybe you are operating your business and you're making money, but you don't have any reserves, and there's a part of you that's like, I know that my brain is thinking about cash flow and I don't have a cushion in the back of my mind, and it's taking your focus and your energy away from being able to truly show up and lead and serve other people and be who you want to be, then you may need to make positive cash flow your big domino. And so that might look like you need to hire a financial planner, you may need to hire a tax strategist, you may need to hire a business advisor that's going to be able to help you set up those systems and that structure and know how much cash that you need to be able to keep and where you're going to start with that, especially when you have a multi-million-dollar business. And maybe this is something where it's like it grew so fast, and that's wonderful, but it grew faster than what you were able to keep up with. And so now it's like there's so many moving pieces in here, you don't even know where to start. This is where, when you have a blind spot, relationships are so valuable because other people can help you to see that with ease where you would never be able to see it with yourself. And so those are some things where, just to summarize that: purpose, positioning, products and services, people, processes, pricing, and positive cash flow. Go through that list and really ask yourself some questions like, where, if I fixed this one thing, if I really focused on this one thing for the entire year, it would have the most impact in my business and in my life. And that is one of the things, again, worked so well for us in 2024, and saying yes to a lot of opportunities in 2024. But now we're going into 25. We are so much more clear and convicted. We're saying no to a lot of things, and we're getting as many no's as we can because we know that there's going to be a lot of yeses in there for the things that we do want to offer. I am leaving so many expectations of myself behind in 2024 myself, and just truly trusting that what we have to offer, we don't need to add anything else to it. We're actually going to be stripping stuff away so that we can amplify the value that we provide for people. And with that, I don't have to intentionally set boundaries and things of that nature. Those things are going to happen as a default of the processes that I'm implementing personally, implementing in my company, and things of that nature. So I hope that this helps you. And one thing that I want to add to close this out is, in going through and setting goals, one of the things that did not work well for me for 2024 was setting generic goals, or setting goals that were so rigid that I couldn't really see how they were going to happen. And I love this little thing that I saw it on Instagram, and I don't remember who it was. And one of the things I did this year is I made sure all of my goals were trackable. And so, in 2024, I wanted to launch a podcast, but I didn't really have any clarity around that. And so I put numbers to it. For 2025, I want to publish 104 podcast episodes. That I can track. I can't really track what launching a podcast looks like. And so one of my core initiatives was getting processes around being able to do that, right? And so now that I know that we have a quantitative factor tied to my goal, it's going to be so much easier. So all of my goals are like that. We want to help our clients achieve 100 million in revenue for 2025 collectively. We can measure that. I'm not a person that is interested in chasing clients. I am interested in chasing value, and we want to have less but better. So we want to help less clients be better, because we know when we focus on amplifying their impact, we actually help so many more people indirectly. So make sure that your goals have some way that you can actually measure them, because they're not likely to be achieved if you don't do that. And this little thing that I completely glazed over that I wanted to share with you is that when you are writing down your goals, put this at the end of it. So for instance, when I said that I wanted to have 104 podcasts published, then at the end of it, I put or something better. And I just like the idea that I'm not limiting myself to this one goal, because that goal may end up being too small. And I don't want to cut myself off and say that, well, I got to 104 episodes in 3/4 of the year. I'm not going to just take my foot off the gas. Now I have the opportunity to do something better with that time. And that may be continuing on the trend, or maybe I reposition how I offer this podcast, whatever that looks like. But I don't want to limit myself to only being able to achieve that goal. I want better than what I can even imagine, because the biggest thing is that our mindset affects everything, and our results are 100% related to the way we think about what we want, about ourselves, about our life, about our perspectives, about other people, about circumstances. Everything is a result of how we think. And I would never, now I understand that I do not want to cut off my potential, because my mindset right now is so limited compared to where it's going to be a year from now. And then with that, cutting off my opportunities to have more. And so if I see an opportunity to where I can have more, if I want to help our clients make 100 million in revenues for 2025 or something better, then absolutely I want to do that. And if that opportunity comes where maybe we can help them make 500 million and it completely looks different than what I originally envisioned right now because I'm in a different headspace, I don't want to cut myself off from that opportunity. So I hope that helps you to be more intentional going into 2025. Establishing what your one big domino is going to be. What are you leaving behind for 2024, leaving that in 2024 and not bringing it into 2025, and what is going to be your word. Some people don't like to do this for whatever reason. Some people do. I love it because it helps me to stay focused, and I love things to be simple, and so being focused makes things simpler. So I hope that that works for you. And if this is helpful for you and you found value from it, then I would appreciate if you would share this with somebody else. I really just want to help people with this. So I hope that you found value here. Would love to hear from you on social media. Tag us if you get to listen to this. And I would love to know what your word for 2025 is and what you chose for your big domino. With that, I'm signing off. Let's grow, y'all.